Welcome back. Today I'll be recapping the 2018 Indonesian horror film May the Devil Take You. Before we begin, I ask you to like and comment on the video because it will help us expand our reach. At the beginning of the movie, we see Lesmana sitting at his house listening to songs and waiting for someone. Suddenly there is a knock on the door, and when he opens the door, there is a woman standing outside whom he was waiting for. The woman enters the house, and Lesmana asks her how about upstairs. But the woman goes towards the basement and says this will do. We then see her making a devil's pentagram on the floor, after which she keeps the head of a goat there at the center. She then asks him did he bring what she asked for. Lesmana takes out a bundle of currency notes and a tuft of hair from his bag and gives them to her, from which she grabs the hair and smells it, and then she wraps it in a piece of paper before eating it. She then wraps her hair around her finger and makes him eat it, and snatches the bundle of notes from his hand. She burns them and throws them on the floor, and then cuts his hand with a knife. Lesmana gets furious because of this and begins leaving there, but only then does the light there go off, and he gets shocked to see that woman levitating in the air with that goat head in his hands. Lesmana gets on his knees and says he believes her and that he is her servant now. Soon after, notes start flying into the room, and he gets surprised to see that his bag is filled with a lot of money. Only then he sees a goat there, and the woman comes down and tells him to remember that the devil has accepted his oath, and there is more wealth waiting for him at home. We then learn that Lesmana purchased multiple properties and became a successful property entrepreneur overnight. Her first wife Intan was found dead, and former actress Laxmi married him and they were blessed with a daughter. However, after some time, his business started to decline, so he had to sell his assets. We then see Lesmana's daughter Alfie traveling in Metro Rail when the lights there begin flickering and a spirit appears there for a moment. She then gets a call from a hospital, and the scene cuts here. Alfie visits the hospital, where we see that spirit behind her as well, but when she looks back, there is no one there. Afterwards, she goes to Lesmana's ward with Laxmi's children Maya and Ruben and his girlfriend Lily, where the nurse tells them that he is showing stroke symptoms, skin disease, and failing organs. They then see Lesmana, and his condition is very bad. Here we learn that Alfie last saw her dad 10 years ago, and that he started visiting his villa a year ago. Ruben takes Lily out from there, and Maya tells Alfie that mom plans to find any remaining assets over at the villa. She says its ownership is under her name, to which Alfie says it's up to them. Maya then leaves there saying she is going to call her mom, and Alfie tells Lesmana that she thought she would feel satisfied seeing him suffer like this, and here we see a mark on her arm. She says he left her and her mom. Meanwhile, he was successful and married that woman. Only then the light of that ward goes off, and he suddenly grabs her arm. Maya gets terrified seeing an entity there behind the curtain, and it starts moving towards her. However, the next moment, it disappears from there. Alfie relaxes seeing this, but only then does she notice that the entity is holding her arm and is lying on the bed instead of Lesmana, and then it attacks her. However, as the lights turn on, she sees there is no one there, and before she could catch her breath, Lesmana wakes up and holds her. Ruben, Maya, and Lily also enter the ward hearing the commotion, and then Lesmana falls on Lily and spits blood on her. The next day, Alfie visits Lesmana's villa and notices the basement door that has been locked and has some talismans pasted on them. She then goes to her room, where she notices a girl standing at the door, who runs away as she looks back. Alfie goes after her, but hears Maya talking to Laxmi about selling this place, and Laxmi asks Ruben to find her little sister Nora and not let her wander around. She then tells Maya that if there is nothing valuable here, they will head back to Jakarta tonight. Alfie then confronts them, and she finds that it was Nara whom she saw upstairs. That night, Laxmi discusses with Alfie about selling the house, to which Alfie says that she has married her father only for money, and for such a woman, he betrayed her mother. Laxmi gets furious hearing this and slaps her, and Alfie leaves there in anger. After she leaves, Laxmi tells everyone to get ready to find any documents, anything they can take back with them. Later, Maya gives Ruben a toolbox and tells him that the door there is closed shut. He tells her about the talismans, and without thinking anything, Maya takes them out of the door and throws them down on the floor. Meanwhile, Maya enters a room and gets shocked to see black magic stuff there. She also finds her photo there, and only then Ruben breaks open the lock. Now as he opens the door, he feels an invisible force coming out there, which passes in front of everyone and leaves the house. The entity goes straight to the hospital and enters Lesmana's ward, causing him to wake up, and he begins choking. He tries to take out a tuft of hair from his mouth, but it begins strangling him and wraps around his head and crushes it till it explodes. Here Laxmi tells Ruben to go check the basement, as there may be a safe deposit box or other valuables. Now as he begins going downstairs, Alfie stops him saying that there is something wrong with this place. Laxmi tells her to stay out of this, to which she says there is something upstairs that they need to investigate. Only then does Nara notice something coming out of the basement, and she tries to tell it to her mom. But by the time Laxmi pays attention to her, that entity has caught hold of her leg and starts dragging her inside the basement. Ruben and Alfie try to pull her back, but the entity overpowers them and drags 𝐀𝐿𝐿 downstairs. They all get scared seeing this, and Maya asks Ruben what should they do, and only then do they hear some scary growls from inside. Alfie asks Ruben to step back, and suddenly 𝐀𝐿𝐿 jumps on Maya, and they all get terrified seeing that she has been possessed by the devil. She then bites Maya's arm, and seeing this, Alfie hits her with a hammer on her head, causing her to fall down and faint. However, she wakes up the next moment and pulls out that hammer. She then gets up and climbs on a wall and begins laughing. They all get terrified seeing this, and 𝐿𝐿𝐿 says fortune shall be paid with soul. She then jumps out of the window and runs into the forest. After she leaves, Ruben shuts the basement door with a cupboard, and meanwhile, Alfie applies a bandage on Maya's wound. After this, they notice a doll in Nara's hand, and Maya tells her to throw it away. Alfie and Ruben then go out, and he shows her that the wires of their car have been damaged by 𝐿𝐿𝐿. They then come in, and Alfie gives him her phone and tells him to try calling the police, the local district, or anyone who could help them. She says there is a hospital down the village and she will take Maya there. Ruben says in this situation, it's safer for all of them to go, to which she tells him to remember who is lurking out there. She then leaves the house with Maya, and Maya says she doesn't want her to hate her, as her life isn't a joyride. She is not even close to her father, and her mom isn't exactly a good mother, and now she is possessed. Only then do they hear some noise as if someone is eating something, and they find 𝐿𝐿𝐿 sitting in the middle of the road at a distance. As 𝐿𝐿𝐿 notices their presence and turns back, Alfie pushes Maya into the bushes. She asks her to be quiet, takes out the hammer from her bag, and goes to confront 𝐿𝐿𝐿. Alfie finds that 𝐿𝐿𝐿 has gone, but then Maya comes out with her diary and asks her what is it. She asks her if she was stalking them and why did she bring her here. Alfie tries to explain to her, but Maya does not listen to her and starts running back home. Alfie asks her to stop, but she falls down, and when she gets up, she finds that Maya is not there anymore. Meanwhile, Ruben calls Lily and asks her to come there, but as he sends her his location, the phone dies. He then goes to Nara, who tells him that she saw the person who took Mom in that scary room. Ruben says they are safe in this room, and only then Alfie returns home alone. Ruben then checks that diary and asks her how did she turn into this. Alfie tells him that she needed to hold on to something, even if it reminded her of everything she hates, but that's all she has. Ruben asks her if she hates them, to which she says the person she hates the most is herself. He then asks her if are they just going to leave Maya out there, to which she says as soon the sun rises, they will look for her. She then brings him to that room and shows him a diary with different photos and weird sketches in it, and she tells him that she saw this woman at the hospital. They also find the sketch of that basement door, and seeing it, Alfie says it seems 𝐿𝐿𝐿 was trying to keep something there, and during this, the door of the basement opens again. They then find a book there, from which they learn about dark priestesses. These women have dedicated themselves to be the concubines of the devil until doomsday comes. Therefore, they are given the power to do supernatural things. Alfie says 𝐿𝐿𝐿 became rich all of a sudden, then he went bankrupt a few years later, and then he started coming back here. Ruben asks her what if that woman is still lurking in the basement, but Alfie faints there. Meanwhile, we see Maya in the woods, and she finds her mom standing there at some distance. 𝐿𝐿𝐿 takes her long tongue out, seeing that Maya gets terrified, and then 𝐿𝐿𝐿 jumps on her and tries to put her tongue in her mouth. However, Maya manages to throw her down and start hitting her with a flashlight until she kills her. We then see that invisible entity entering Nara's room, and then it goes inside an almirah. The door of that almirah then opens on its own, and it calls Nara in her mother's voice. Nara wakes up and starts going towards the almirah, but gets terrified seeing someone inside it. She then opens the almirah again and finds that it's a photo, and then she goes back to her bed. However, the door of the almirah opens again, and we see that dark priestess coming towards her and shaking her bed. Nara wakes up and her bed begins shaking violently, and as she says she is not her mom, the bed stops shaking. She then looks under the bed but sees nothing there. However, she haunts her as she gets up. Ruben and Alfie hear her scream and go to her room, where they find the priestess trying to drag her under the bed. She then pulls Alfie under the bed and injures her, but as Ruben moves the bed, she disappears from there. Alfie then goes into a flashback where we see her with her mother, and she tells her that she will be right back. Now as she goes out of the room, something pushes her back, and we see her hanging holding Alfie's hand. She tells her to let go, and then we see that dark priestess latching to her and trying to reach Alfie, so her mother scratches her arm, causing her to leave her. Meanwhile, Lily's car gets stuck in the forest. She tries to contact Ruben, but his phone is switched off. Only then Maya knocks on her window, and Lily asks her what happened to her. Maya asks her what she is doing here, to which she says Ruben told her to come. Maya tells her to open the door, but Lily feels something strange, and she sees that she is holding a hammer in her hand. She tells Maya to go first and that she will be behind her, but Maya breaks the window door with hammer and opens the door, and then she hits Lily with it until she dies. She then returns home, and during this, we see the devil in the house. We then see her going downstairs to the basement, and she enters the pentagram, where she finds voodoo dolls of her family. Only then the devil calls her name, and we see her getting possessed. Maya asks her who she is, to which she says she is her mother. Maya begs her to forgive her, saying it's not her fault, but soon she realizes that it's not her mother but devil, and the devil offers her to be his follower. Maya accepts his offer and kneels before him, and we see the dark priestess behind her. The next day, Alfie wakes up hearing a piano sound, and when she comes downstairs, she finds her mother playing piano. She sits beside her and says she knows this isn't real, but she needs to know that she wants to be with her again. Her mother requests her to stay with her as it's so dark there and she is alone and scared. She then holds her hand and says she should have been taken. Alfie gets terrified seeing her, and her mother asks her if is she letting her go again. Her head then begins bleeding, and Alfie says she is not her mother. Her mother then tears apart her face, revealing dark priestess beneath it, but only then Maya comes there and asks her what's wrong. Alfie notices that she is in her mother's dress, and she says soon, but only then Ruben and Nara come there. Later, Alfie tells Ruben that they have to leave now, to which he says he called Lily and she is coming. She then shows him her arm, and then Nara's fingers, and tells him to remember what his mom said last night. That woman they saw last night, she came and took her mom, and now she is in his mom, and she will never let go of her and Nara. She gets up and says let's leave, but Maya says it's time, and he will never let them leave. Ruben asks her who she is talking about, but she pushes him back and begins laughing like crazy, and the lights in the room begin flickering. The whole house then begins shaking, and they find that the door of the house is locked. Only then do they see that Maya is standing at some distance, and she says he will never let them leave. Dark Priestess then appears there at the outside of the door, and her size becomes huge. Ruben noticed that Maya is gone, so he tells Alfie that he has to find her and ask her to watch over Nara. He goes upstairs and finds that Maya is trying to open a door and tells her that they need to leave. However, when she turns, he gets terrified seeing that it's the Dark Priestess and tries to run away. She chases him and he tries to shut the door, but only then he gets shocked to see that she has become huge now. However, he manages to shut the door. Maya then from behind him says he wants Alfie and Nara, to which he goes to her and tells her to wake up. He notices a voodoo doll in her hand, and Maya says she told him that they will never leave this house. He tries to take her away, but stops when she says she killed Mom, and when he turns, she says Lily too, in the woods. She then shows him the devil behind a door and tells him that he is waiting for her and for him to be back in his embrace. She then says let's take Alfie and Nara to him, and he and her will never need to ask for anything else. She kisses him, but Ruben pushes her back, and she says this is their last chance to repay Lasmana's debt. He tries to wake her up and slaps her, causing her to get furious, and she pulls out his voodoo doll and breaks Ruben's arm. He tries to escape there, but she breaks his leg too, causing him to fall down the stairs. Alfie and Nara watch this and try to come to him to help him, but he stops them and tells them to go away. Maya then comes there and she uproots Ruben's head from his body. Alfie gets furious seeing this, and Maya takes out Nara's voodoo doll and drags her away into the cellar. She then controls Alfie with the help of her doll and begins attacking her, causing her to faint. Later, she wakes up in the basement where the Dark Priestess says she has been waiting for him. Lasmana then comes there and she throws a voodoo doll in the fire and asks him does he bring what is needed. Lasmana says he can't, as Alfie is his daughter, to which she says but he could do it to his first wife. She then says that he didn't make a promise to her, and until now, he has not been able to pay his dues. Lasmana hands her over a tuft of hair, which she smells and asks if he takes her for a fool. Lasmana grabs the knife kept there and stabs her as she turns, but she manages to pluck his hair and eats it, and says not now, not later, but when he least expects it, he will lose everything, along with his own flesh and blood. Lasmana gets furious hearing this and knocks her down with a shovel and hits her with it until she dies. He then buries her there in the basement, and when Alfie looks back, she finds Maya there sitting on the stairs. She then begins moving towards Alfie, and Alfie says that Nara and Ruben were her siblings, but Maya takes out her doll and pricks a nail in it, causing her to scream in pain. Maya then begins moving towards her, and Alfie tries to wake her up. The devil says it's useless now, because Maya has already accepted who she is. She then breaks her hand, but during this, Alfie notices Maya's doll hanging around her neck. She begins laughing to make Maya come closer to her, and Maya does the same and asks her what's so funny. Alfie says she is funny, and even now, she is still acting. This makes Maya furious and she gets up and begins breaking her leg, and says it seems she won't need her legs in the place she is going. Alfie then shows her doll to her, due to which she gets shocked, and then she throws it in the fire. Maya's body then catches fire and she burns alive in front of Alfie. After she dies, Alfie goes to Nara and tries to wake her up, but only then she sees Dark Priestess standing at the basement door and she shuts it. Alfie then goes back downstairs to dig up the priestess's remains, and she tries to take Lasmana's hair out of her body. She manages to do it and throws it in the fire, causing the curse to end, and she finds that the bruise on her arm disappears. However, Dark Priestess comes there from behind her, grabs her, and drags her into her grave. Now when Alfie wakes up, she finds herself wrapped in a hair braid. She finds a dagger there and manages to free herself by cutting it. But because of the mud, she is not able to come out of that grave. Only then does she hear her mother calling her and sees her hand there, which she grabs and comes out, but finds that it's Nara helping her out to come out. Now as the sun rises, they both leave the house and the movie ends as the camera pans toward the basement. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for watching.